So hey, at this point, my darkness level, at least if I just hit this, is at 11. Not really much has changed, but if I were to go through, I'll show you. Don't need to really explain it, it's on screen so I can spend 2 seconds, but I'll also give timestamps so that you can skip to the gameplay, because I feel it is important to kind of look at the rune tree and see how what people are choosing. Obviously, with different characters and/or different character weapon combinations, I don't need to show you 201, you should kind of already know. But, yeah, this is my rune tree that I'm using for Shotgun Diamond. As you've noticed, I was playing around with Glass Tech Cannon, and it only decreases your HP, so you can still heal your HP, but it does start at half level, so you will die quicker if you die. So, and I think I'm still going to keep extra experience. I should have it on somewhere, right? No? Oh, wait, it's here. So, again, this is the one I normally use, 1 HP every 5th level, but it's more for the extra experience, especially since I'm now penalized on experience, or penalized by having less experience. So, yeah, reduce upgrades does hurt. Small, and that's not really as harmful because by 5 minutes, usually you have your build evolved, but yeah, the experience gain on top of the less upgrades is going to hurt the chance of you making a successful build. Now, of course, you could gotcha marathon or re-roll based on the first 2 or 3 minutes to try and save time, but for me, when I do challenges on roguelikes, usually they prevent me from re-rolling, so I gotta get better at, being flexible and finding other builds. I think one of them, because I haven't put it out yet, if I have, then you already know, and I'm just repeating myself and being redundant, but there have been runs where I got Dragon, like, minute 1 or 2, so... And by getting Dragon, I mean getting Egg, obviously, because the Dragon doesn't hatch for 3 minutes, but that tree does help you out early-ish if you happen to get it. Of course, you have to get it, so, like, for example, I could pick Frost Mage. We'll see if I can do it this one, just so I'm a bit more flexible, because I'd like to take Frost. Actually, Frost would have helped me a lot, but we'll see. Also, Ethereal putting in work. I should just write it down to look up how to pronounce skill names. I think I've gone like 4 videos for you, but for me it's been like a week and I haven't done my homework basically. But Frost Mage would have been nice because the CC in this game is so powerful. I feel, oh, there's a dragon upgrade there. Why did I not take it? I just looked at, well, that's pretty much, so the tree I just went into that double shot starts you off on is a pretty important to my build. I use Fusillade, whatever you want to call it, into, I think it also has Fanfire. So those are the two, Fanfire, and if not Fanfire, then Double Shot. Yeah, so I didn't see it anymore. I'll take Frost Mage. Electro Mage is okay as well, but ads get tanky quickly, especially on high darkness levels. That's not true, I don't think, but I definitely want Lightning at some point. If not, if I get Shatter, then I don't really need it as much. Basically, what I'm saying is Lightning doesn't one-shot anything, and usually you'd want it to. Unless, of course, you get an Ethereal proc, then, again, it doesn't matter as much. But on waves where you get swarmed, or big swarm waves, I might as well. I should be taking Dragon, but I'll talk about it in a moment. But yeah, on waves that you get swarmed from all directions, Lightning does less without its final upgrade and AoE increase. So, which is why, again, CC. Lightning is technically CC because it hits things and knocks things back for you, but actual, so again, Splinter or Splitfire. I think Splitfire is actually quite useful. Everything in that tree is useful, so for my build specifically. But yeah, when you're getting swarmed, Freeze and Burn technically are very helpful, and what they evolve into basically spreads the AoE for damage, which is why I said Lightning is technically CC, but Freeze is also, you're not just relying on knockback with Freeze, you have enemies literally stop. And it also stops eyes from firing, which are pretty much, I think, in my mind, the most annoying enemies in the game, well, at least for this build. Some characters have it easier because they can just run, or maybe their special ability or their perks, character perks and whatnot, allow them to mitigate a lot of what the eyes can do, maybe, but for me they are, and it's because every character has to deal with them, so And unless one character somehow nullifies their projectiles, as I've mentioned before, then yeah, they're a real problem. Especially on minute 15, 16, where you don't have the ability to... I think I'll take Glare. But where you have the where you're boxed in with pretty much the hardest part of the game, as most people I believe, and I think I'd agree with it. But again, maybe but even if one or two specific builds and/or characters have an easier time with it, I mean that doesn't excuse like the other 90% of your choices that don't have an easy time with it. So me, it's less of a problem because I'm more comfortable dodging and weaving between ads and whatnot. But I mean, it's still not good. You have to dodge removable projectiles, so we have no way to deal with them, aside from some characters with iframes, obviously. But for the most part, yeah, you're boxed in, you have to deal with them, and you're swarmed with a lot of, I think, nearly a dozen bullets on screen at the same time, if not more. So, also, I need another Ethereal proc soon, which means I do need to clear these out. And then 360 here and there. Let me pick up this diamond perk. That's the one I usually don't want, especially as darkness level increases, because elites and bosses do double damage to me. But I mean, nothing else I can do. I might as well take rapid fire. The more bullets I can get out, the more... If I had lightning, the more lightning I could get out. But also my dragon's damage isn't increasing because I think I skipped that upgrade. So this is not going to be great for me. I'm kind of mixed in. And mixing... I think someone said that dipping into each perk tree isn't good, and to some extent that is true. You do, but I think that fits more into what knowledge, where you know what perks you want. Obviously, don't take one of every perk if they appear. That could be a challenge video, but for survival's sake, probably not. Don't do that. So, Ice or Vitality. I don't have Shatter yet. Actually, I should have taken that, because that's part of the freeze tree, I think. But it's too late now. I'm here. Which is kind of bad, because I'm about to enter a bad... I'm about to get swarmed in a moment. But hopefully Ethereal carries me. Ethereal has carried me through so much runs, I'm not going to... I'm not going to lie. Now, whether it's actually a better perk than its two other perks, is up in the air. But since my dragon isn't getting any damage boost up increases, I do need the damage perk. I will take it if I see it. But since I don't see it, take Fanfire. So this dragon is probably just going to be a nice little decoration. It's still doing damage. It shoots 3 flames, it does its work, and I think puts on burn. So yeah, it puts burn on enemies, but still. So Shatter would have been nice here. Yes, I only do 1% of its max HP, but if I'm shooting like 10 bullets at the same time, then unless and you can't reapply freeze ? So really I'm doing an extra 1, but the more bullets would help because I'm ultimately doing more DPS as I dodge this horse. And also, obviously, if I have Ethereal, I can just keep laying into the horse. I think there's one moment where the horse does die out of box. I think some people have asked that to be quote-unquote fixed, but I don't mind either way, because that's usually not going to happen. It would be really strange, so let's take Age Dragon. It'll be weird, but, I'll deal with it. So my dragon did lose some damage for the whole run, but if I die, it doesn't matter anyway. Dragon is a very large investment, but the returns you get because of its 4th perk, if it didn't have its 4th perk, it would be a lot worse. But because it's the way its 4th perk works, if I get it, you'll see. But until then, yeah. So again, the horse died. Okay, after 6 minutes, it will disappear, but. Yeah, neither of these, I technically take this. I think Dragon does warrant... no, not really. Yeah, I think I need more summons, but with Dragon alone, I could take Devoted or... what's the word? What the other perk? But Ethereal, I think I like Ethereal a lot, so... And with Diamond specific perks tree... Oh my goodness, stop getting hit me. With Diamond specific perk tree... I think it does a lot. So Dragon Bond will take immediately. The extra damage will help me in the next 3 minutes, pretty much, until the bigger ads appear. Because the extra, 2 or 3 damage does add up. Especially if I'm cleaving a lot of mobs, and with the scaling, because I think these reach up to 48-ish HP. I haven't calculated it out yet, and I could probably look it up. Someone probably knows, but the extra damage is noticeable. So While at the same time, sometimes it's not, but it really depends. So sometimes 10% is noticeable, sometimes it's not. In the case of damage, it is. But for, you know, additive or multiplicative perks, not as much. So Fusillade, I'm probably going to take that. Like, Electromage is okay, but I also need Shatter as well. I'm still doing an okay amount of damage, but I also only have 2 bullets in my clip, but since I have Fanfire, it's a lot better as long as I don't die. Please don't die me. Shatter would be nice, or any one of the perks that does 25% of max HP would have been nice, but, you know, so Frostbite being one of them. I also want to take Fire and Thunder soon, but I don't really have the choice. Hopefully I kill another 1,000 enemies soon, because I need that extra HP. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if I didn't have Split Fire, I might be dead. I think more than 2 enemies have snuck up on me. But we'll find out. I need to cut a way through. Again, the double shot tree allows me to more reliably cut my way through enemies, but I do need healing. Fresh clip. Yeah, I think fresh clip. It's only 5%, but you know, we'll take it. So I need to approach these enemies. If I wanted to be a bit, if I were more confident in one clip killing everything, I would stagger my fire and approach. But since I'm not, I'm just gonna keep holding fire down. I do need to level up though, so I need to inch my way toward experience. However, while not getting hit by projectiles, we're actually gonna take Giant. None of those perks really appeal to me, so. And they would have been helpful for the trees that they go into, but more immediately I needed the HP, so that's why I did that. If there were another boss here at some point, I would be in a lot more trouble, but because it's just the waves of enemies, which in itself is difficulty, this is more a DPS check, or an AoE DPS check, or CC check, then, but I'm prepared for it, so it's fine. Also, I see health there, so I'm going to inch toward that as well. Actually, I'm going to take Pyro Mage, yeah. Unless it actually doesn't do as much as I think it actually does. Because I know it puts on burn, but most of my damage is coming from my bullet spread, the amount of projectiles in each shot, and the max freeze proc that removes 25% of HP. So, in a sense, you can consider that perk reducing their max HP down to non-scaled values, but you know, yeah, of these, I could take mini clip, but until I get, until I shoot 3, unless I already do. Actually, let me check really quick. I don't, right? Yeah, I didn't pick up, but basically, as long as you, I think my opinion's changed, so as long as you have Fanfire and the perk that shoots 3 frost bullets after you empty your clip, you can take mini clip because the amount of CC you'll be doing, since every clip or every shot, that's without Ethereal, obviously, for my build specifically, but if I have those 2 perks, then every shot is my last, is the last bullet in the chamber, which means you're always proccing Fanfire and that, any perk that has to do with firing the last shot of your clip, which is pretty interesting in terms of part of your build. I guess combinations, it's not really, yeah, I'm not sure how to specifically talk about builds. Obviously, we can call characters by the weapon combination. So again, I'm using shotgun. I'm using shotgun diamond, but in terms of perks to pick, I think we can look at it more in terms of the loadout of combination. So again, if you take Fanfire, the 3 frost bullets for last clip, and mini clip, like, I guess the last clip build, or it's more a combination of perks. And then, again, I take Fusillade tree into freeze procs, so that's its own thing. You know what? Now we'll take Magnetism. Things like maybe taking Vision and Movement Speed to level up faster, so more of a grindy build, but if you can, I hope you see what I mean when I mentioned that. At the same time, because in the end, you are going to be turning into what looks like a flamethrower or like shotgun wielding abomination, which oddly enough, shotgun looks like a flamethrower once you reach endgame properly with a proper build that can survive. And again, by that I mean any build that can survive is a quote-unquote proper build. But yeah, for other weapons, obviously, like for crossbow, if you're shooting lots of shots like that, we'll take Soothing Orb instead. Funny enough. But yeah, things with smaller shots and that don't spread out as much might look more like a shotgun instead. So yeah. Also, if you hear background noise, yes, I'm recording around people, so it's there's nothing I can do about that. Listen, I gotta work with what I'm dealt with, right? So also, I accidentally you know, I have a lot of work, so I only get like a few moments to record. But yeah, for builds, again, you can talk about the perks that you use or put a splash screen or a screenshot of what you finished the game with. But for the most part, you can still figure out people's builds. Again, I've talked about it before, but to remind people, you basically go to stop for about 5 seconds. Top to left. You start top left, go down, and in each column is the order in which people take perks. I'm pretty sure, if I'm wrong, correct me or figure it out yourself, but I'm pretty sure that's how you read people's perk trees. So you can see what people build into, and that's why I kind of, not lost faith, but stopped taking mobility, at least early game, over actual DPS increases. And not saying that you building into those building into movement early isn't workable. It's just, for me, it usually doesn't work out. So especially gets to get swarmed pretty early on. So I mean, until we get another mode or something, and again, this is not a complaint at how much content there is. I'm just saying, until we get a different mode where the early game starts off differently, then, you know, taking damage over mobility / defense is, I think, to our benefit. So on the diamond perk, so because one of the darkness levels increases the damage that small enemies do to you, small enemies deal double damage in the last 5 minutes. I think these projectiles that I just got hit by, are still only going to do one, so technically you can get away from it, but that does mean that, because since that specific diamond proc, I think Berserk only procs when I get hit, then it doesn't matter how much HP I lose. So if I lose 2 HP but get hit once because things deal double damage, then I only get 1 increase, as opposed to getting hit by these shots. I can still at least get a 1-to-1 on getting hit and getting my permanent buff. Which, by the way, now that I have Berserk, I pretty much become a monster. Even without HP regen, getting hit 2 or 3 times, you'll notice a difference. So, and obviously after getting hit at least 5 times, you'll definitely see the difference. So that also means that synergizes with Electromage, because since I'm going to be shooting quicker. That looked like a boss. Did you see those 2 enemies approach me? That looked like, I was like, is this some kind of 1% proc boss? Which could be an interesting mechanic, but I'll leave that to people's discretion, both the devs' discretion and the community as a whole, again, because I won't speak for the community. But yeah, I actually got scared from it, because I was like, what is that? No, it was just 2 mobs walking together, but they were facing opposite directions. Let me get hit first before I pick that up. But yeah, Electromage, I'll be shooting faster, reloading faster, which means more lightning's going to be coming out. Obviously, it's going to be more useful once I build into Thunder Tree or Electro Tree. I don't know what to call that. Because then my lightning will be doing more, but until then, this does pretty well because I already have Shatter and Freeze. I have my build set up. I have everything from the double shot tree. I now have regeneration, which means I'm going to go 2 under my max HP. And yeah, I look completely insane. You know, the funny thing is that my game only slowed down, I think, once I had too many bullets and they were too big. So maybe that's how I'm going to save my frame rate for these recordings, which also means I'm going to be limited in my builds, like, by 1 build. But, I mean, I survive regardless. So, anyway, I think I do have something else to talk about. I just wanted to take a break, both for myself and for the sake of you watching the video, who might be worried. Take a breath, you know, Jordan, relax. But I think a few in the community have already brought it up, and I think I've said it once, but to say it again, you know, kind of the lack, quote-unquote, of diversity. That's not the specific quote-unquote, so I shouldn't say that, but basically, there's not much variety going into the end game. My counter argument is usually something along the lines of I think 20 minutes till dawn's specific progression, and a lot of what do you want to call it? Well, I had a term for it. I was thinking about what to say it, but it's not run and gun, and you're not always shooting. Most of the time you're shooting, but roguelike. roguelike top-down roguelike. So TDR, I guess, is the best, most generic way to say it. But basically, there's not much. There's not much to the content, or it's not boring, but it's not as much diversity, which is kind of not fair. Again, one of the counter arguments is like, well, I mean, literally the game just came out, and because of the way it's being developed, I'll take that hit, by the way. Because of the way the game's being developed, their content will be coming out over time. And to be fair, oh my goodness, I took a hit from that boss. I shouldn't have. Let me concentrate for a moment, actually. I'll keep that thought in my mind, but until this boss dies, let me make sure that I don't die. And Ice Shard. So Ice Shard. Ice Shard, Miniclip, Fanfire is the combination. But, okay, so what I was saying is that because of the way this game is being developed, we have to expect it over time. The counter argument would be, yeah, I don't like either of these. Oh, no, actually, no, I like Rage. I want Rage, actually. So we'll take Rage. But, yeah, more content is going to come out over time. But, even then, it's not like... Because you got to remember, even though, yes, most games of the top-down roguelike genre, I guess we'll call it for now, are 30 minutes-ish. So... And without mentioning the obvious example, we know the obvious example. I've said the obvious example, but... even 20-30 minutes, expecting people, and since there are 15 darkness levels, again, back to the counter argument, I'll talk in a second, but there are 15 darkness levels, which means you need to spend at least, what's the exact wording as my game proceeds to lag? So what would that be? 200 minutes, 300 minutes-ish, which would be at least 5 hours straight, and that's assuming you get everything done perfectly. I think I've done that right. No, 5 hours. Yeah, 5 hours. So 20 minutes, 15, 30, 300 minutes for 15 runs. Perfect. And these are perfect runs because obviously you don't die. But even then, like, let's say 6 to 8 hours. And most people, again, I talked about that in another video, so I can talk about it here to kind of, because I probably haven't said it yet. Let me clear out things. If I clear out mobs, the game will speed up. My frame rate will be restored, but, I was focused on the boss. What do you want me to do? This has never happened before, because the only thing that changed between darkness levels is that damage against me was increased. I guess I haven't been clearing out these mobs, but yeah, what I wanted to say was that's right, I need to pick that up. I actually need to pick that up. Anger point, kill clip, anger point, anger point. That way I can purposely get hit and then increase my damage. Actually, we're in the last 5 minutes. That's right. That's why I've been taking so much damage. I took so much damage there. But, again, to get back onto my train of thought, games with smaller play sizes are popular, but the total time it takes, in terms of minutes till dawn, is still a lot of time. So, again, like I said, you need to do at least 15 runs to at least... For most, well, not even for most people, for people who want to quote-unquote complete the game right now, and there are achievements as well, so when you include those, as my frame rate becomes restored somewhat until more enemies swarm the screen, then that's a lot of total time that you have to spend on one game. But for me, it's worth it because, ooh, I finally got shattered. But hopefully these mobs will clear more. Yeah, so definitely clears the mobs and my frame rate will definitely be restored. But yeah, the total time you need to play, most people aren't... They're going to give it a few runs. They won't reach Darkness 15, or they'll do so off, if they're the type of, if they're content creators, they'll do so off recording. But for me, it's a lot of value for it's a $3 game, as we expect top-down roguelikes to be in this current generation. Or as of the game that came out. But yeah, it's also to prove the point. The total amount of, to close the thought, the total amount of time people are playing is, can't be, we only have so much time to put in each game. So I understand, to go back to my point I talked about a long time ago with all these tangents, I understand why people are kind of not complaining, but not criticizing either, but they're pointing out the lack of diversity in gameplay anyway, not in build. This is not about builds, it's more about gameplay. Also, yes, these shots only take away 1 HP, so I can take these shots to kind of mitigate, if I still want my, to increase my permanent perks from Berserk, but I don't really need it, as you can see in this last minute. But I would like to level up because I haven't been picking up experience. So I also never got run and gun. At this point, run and gun would be more to level up faster, but you know, again, Minutes Till Dawn, in my mind, and I might be a bit biased because I'm a game dev myself, but I'm willing to wait for more content updates again. Because if I were someone who were playing more games, admittedly, I'm already kind of full on what I have on my plate. But if I were someone who were, you know, one-offing a lot of games, that means again, Minutes Till Dawn, where it is right now, there's content. Again, not everyone's a content creator. And for those who are content creators and are actually saying there's not enough content, I mean, you know, if you're good at a game, you'll also complete it faster. So that's both it can be both not great, but it's usually a blessing. So, you know, also I should have taken haste there, but because I can pretty much approach things, I should be stagger shooting, so I can at least try to pick up as much levels as I can to grind runes as possible. At that same point, again, people who are usually saying that are already, you know, grinding for runes. They don't even need to. They may be doing it unconsciously, but for those who don't know, you probably want to be grinding runes anyway, because when more unlockable things come out, that way you have them day one. Both as a content creator tip, but also as a, you know, if you want to stay on top of content coming out immediately, then, you know. And of course, the dev could choose not to do that, but that's the case right now. If the dev is aware, then maybe they'll make things quote-unquote free, but for the most part, that's where we're going to leave off as I move into Darkness 12. I'll give you a sneak peek, but that should be it for now. If I end the video this way, then at least I'm leaving time for my end screen. But until then, yeah, small enemies even have more HP, as I expected. I haven't looked up all the Darkness levels yet, but we'll see if I skip Darkness levels, and I'll just tell you what happens. But otherwise, you know, if you want to support me, do what you want. I'll be out. Thank you for watching.